Honest J. Nowak. Oh yeah.
A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to Honest J. Nowak and Flying with the Foam. What I got to talk about today is, wow, let's just say we're going small once again with number 663. See if I can pull it out, because I do have a lot that I'm going to be talking about for the next couple weeks. So, here it is. Another rival blaster. I seem to be going on a streak here in terms of talking about different rivals blasters, because Atlas, Morpheus, Hypnos, I've already talked about the majority of those already, and it seems like that we're probably going to be going into a bit of a spiral here between different blaster lineups and all that, so let's just keep that in mind. But not to get sidetracked, this one is probably one of the smallest that you might ever find so far, because we have actually gotten some news that because of some debuts that we've gotten lately of the new Rivals Curve Shot series, it's possible that this blaster right here might actually become kicked. But the Oneiros here, or Knockout, just never gonna let that down, are ya? The Oneiros, yeah, is in fact the smallest blaster out there. But the Curve Shot series is probably gonna prove otherwise about which blaster is truly the smallest in the Rivals lineup. And there's a potential that we might actually have an even smaller one of these days. But until then, I don't see that happening very much. Man, they always seem to bounce back. But as you just noticed, it seems to operate very similar to that of the Jolt. So that seems to be a common aspect that I tend to find in a lot of different blasters, where we tend to see styling cues and functions repeatedly being used just to eventually become new additions. But I wouldn't say that it's entirely new in the industry. But I will say for sure that for a blaster like this, I feel like it was an obligatory thing. So maybe it probably deserve to become a part of the Rivals lineup itself, but I probably don't need to go all out like that, because regardless of my point of view, I happen to find something very unique about this particular Rivals blaster itself, not just for its size or its function, which is, well, I might as well talk a little bit more about that right now while I'm at it. To reload, push down on this, and the chamber pops open, revealing a little muzzle tip at the end. Then you have to close it back up like that. The breech is nicely full of air pressure, and wow, cock that. Wow. The way I see it, I'm going to be seeing a lot of bounce backs here with the Oneiros, and maybe along the line I might be seeing a lot of others like that over time. Whoa, there we go. So basically speaking, the Oneiros here surely is a good blaster to have. I do kind of like how its ergonomics are really supposed to tailor to larger sized people, because the grip is very, very bulky in size, and I could barely wrap my whole hand around it while touching my fingers in it at the same time. It certainly does seem to be made for larger sized people, which is kind of appropriate given to the fact that the lineup itself is basically geared towards people who are 14 and above. And that's just for the lineup itself. So I can't necessarily be sure why they wanted to tailor this to people who are 22 like me, but the thing is, the Oneiros sure is a good blaster, regardless of whatever attributes are put upon this whole entire thing. But the other things I probably would mention, that other than, well, cosmetics, where the breech itself also doubles as a small barrel nub in here, which Doesn't necessarily do much, but you can actually put a round in here, then prime it, and then fire without closing the breech itself. So that's another thing out there that probably seems unnecessary, but it's still a thing that you can pull off if you're able to. But of course, you also got rival round storage for 4 of them. And if you count the breech without it being primed, then 5 rounds is all you're pretty much going to get within this blaster, as well as a tactical rail on the top. But I can't ultimately be sure if people are actually willing to put accessories on the top of the Oneiros here, but I would in fact like to know anybody who has tried to do so. So probably comment down for a link of some sort. I don't care if it's a page to Twitter or Instagram or maybe Reddit or Quora. Anything could probably work, but other than that, the Oneiros pretty much is the small underdog of the whole entire series itself, because there's been tons of really large, oversized Rivals blasters that it's gotten a little bit out of hand. So being that this came out in 2019, the same year as a ton of other great blasters, it's pretty nice to know that we finally got ourselves a really small rival blaster to pretty much counteract against the really gigantic ones that I've sometimes had trouble trying to fit here on the frame when talking about them. So I'll just toss it out to the side and just make a little closing statement. Oneiros is small, mighty, just like what the Jolt used to tell us. Micro size and mega power was its slogan. And I feel like that the same can apply well to the Oneiros here, and maybe other blasters that might as well happen to be of this specific style and this design. So that's pretty much all I got to say about that. But if you want to see more go down on my channel, then make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.